This is CBS.
Coming up next on News 15 Nightbeat, America welcomes home the TWA hostages.
The date is set for a Reagan-Gorbachev meeting.
The move is on to try a local boy as an adult for murder.
And a new youth center opens in the city. Details next on News 15 Nightbeat.
We've got the touch.
And good evening to you. I'm Liz Berry.
And I'm Ken Owen. For the 39 Americans who were caught in the middle, and for millions of us who followed their ordeal, watching, waiting, and hoping for a peaceful solution, the confusion and uncertainty is over tonight. The 39 Americans formerly held as hostages by Shiite terrorists are now home safely. James Hoskins, a 22-year-old Indianapolis man and recent Butler University graduate, was reunited with his friends and family today for the first time in almost 3 weeks. Hoskins was on a vacation that was a graduation present with his fiancée when their plane was hijacked. Tonight, he is home safely. For Hoskins and the other hostages, it's been a tiring day, but one they've been waiting and hoping for. Earlier today, 32 of the former hostages were welcomed back by Ronald and Nancy Reagan. Among the group was Navy diver Clinton Suggs, who's an Elkhart native, James Hoskins, and Alan Conwell, originally of Moreland, Indiana. It was a time for reunions, a time for joy, for tears, but most of all, it was a time for thanks.
There's only one thing to say, and I say it from the bottom of my heart in the name of all the people of our country. Welcome home. Nancy's birthday is Saturday, and whether you like it or not, she's already declared that you are the greatest birthday present she's ever gotten.
The pilot of the hijacked TWA flight, John Testrake, thanked America for its prayers and support.
We're proud and honored, knowing how you joined together in our time of crisis to let it be known that our country was behind us 100%. It was your thoughts and prayers that gave us strength and kept our minds on our main goal, freedom.
With the hostage drama over, more and more is being learned about the Shiite Muslims who held the 39 Americans captive for 17 days. Former hostage Richard Herzberg says the hijackers were heartless, violent thugs.
I cannot describe to you how ugly a situation it was. There was blood on the walls. There was torture at night. People were held, beaten, cigarettes were put out on their neck. My wife was beaten. I was taken off a plane in the middle of the night. I never knew if I was going to see the light of day again. I was held for 10 days without a toilet, without windows. It was not funny.
Former hostage Peter Hill says he doesn't understand why he and the 38 others are being treated like heroes.
Why are we being singled out like this, you know? If there's one person, it's that young man that was murdered.
America is not forgetting Robert Steedham, the Navy diver who was tortured and killed by the hijackers. Today, the President and First Lady laid a wreath at Steedham's grave at Arlington National Cemetery. Later, Reagan repeated his claim that the U.S. knows who killed Steedham and says the responsible individuals will pay for their crime.
I know you care deeply about Robbie Steedham and what was done to him. We will not forget what was done to him. There will be no forgetting. His murderers must be brought to justice.
Meanwhile, there are 7 Americans who were kidnapped before the hijacking of TWA Flight 847 that remain in Beirut. President Reagan says the U.S. will continue to work to bring them home. Tonight in Fort Wayne, a man continues to cling to life after being injured in an accident that killed his father. 64-year-old Daniel Dola was killed when the car he was driving hit another car head-on. Dola's 29-year-old son David was critically injured. Police say the driver of the other car was wearing a seatbelt and received only minor injuries.
It may be Center. And next on Nightbeat, state Democrats gather in Fort Wayne tonight to raise money.
And Summit Bank announces a major change. We'll be right back. The state's new regional banking law is making it possible for Summit Bank to become one of the state's largest banks. Summit Bank officials announced a merger with another bank this morning, and News 15's Jim Vincent reports.
Summit Bank of Jim Vincent, News 15.
Meanwhile, the Ohio legislature is presently considering a bill that would allow banks there to branch out to other states. That bill is already passed in the House and in Senate committee. It is now on its way to the full Senate. In California tonight, they have called in the Marines to drop water bombs on raging fires throughout the state. So far, the brush fires have burned more than 70,000 acres in California, Arizona, and Idaho. A flash fire in Los Angeles killed 2 people and injured 4 others as it swept through a fashionable neighborhood near downtown this afternoon.
And coming up, Lee Kelso answers, how does your telephone do that?
But first, Maureen Ty answers, will it rain on holiday picnics? That answer in the forecast coming up next. The way it looks right now, the 4th of July will be all right for jumping rope or having picnics or whatever you choose to do. It's looking pretty good.
Right now, I think the fireworks displays are shaky because it looks like it's going to be kind of cloudy, and I don't think that's too conducive to looking at fireworks, but what the heck, at least it's not going to rain. It won't wash away the picnic. We do have some clouds out there right now. We are expecting temperatures from the 60s to the 80s then, and that's just right where it should be for this time of the year. So temperatures are right on.
Looking at those temperatures out on the West Coast, we should consider ourselves lucky
I
despite
think so.
the yucky day
99 degrees yesterday. It was 107 in LA. Today 102. No thanks.
No, thank you. We'll stick with this. Thank you very much, Maureen. On now to Lee Kelso's weekly segment entitled, How Do They Do That? This week's topic is a powerful piece of technology that we often take for granted, the telephone. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. Be sure to join Jim Vincent and the entire News 15 team tomorrow morning for morning reports at 7:25 and 8:25. WKRP in Cincinnati is coming up next.
But before we go, Ken, you remember last night we talked about an Indiana teacher who's a finalist to go up in the space shuttle. Well, tonight we leave you with a story about your chance for a trip in space. Travel agents across the country, including Indianapolis and Cincinnati, are offering the space trips to adventuresome travelers. I'm going to sign Ken up. NASA has allowed travel agencies to offer the 3-day trips aboard the Challenger since April. So far, only a few people have shown any interest in the trip, though. I think the price is a hang-up, Ken. It's $1 million per seat.
I'm going to double check that. $1 million.
I'll sign you up, but you have to pay.
That's all right.
We thank you for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great night.
An overbearing preacher wants to heal WKRP of its rock and roll programming tonight on WKRP in Cincinnati. Coming up next here on Channel 15.